Today is a big day for Zelos fans as the Nova 2 will be released in a few hours. Actually, when the video drops, it might already have been released. As usual with Zelos, you have to be really quick in order to get these watches at pre-launch prices. It launches today. As for the time I'm filming, it launches in a few hours at 5 p.m. CET. So it might already have been launched when I release this video, so do hurry up. Really quickly, this watch comes in the watch roll that we have seen lately from Zelos. Very nice, very cool quality. I do not believe it is real leather, but in any case, the watch comes protected in here, and you can put two other watches, so 3 in total. Very good. You also get, of course, the classic Zelos warranty card, just 1 year of warranty as usual. You know how that goes. It should be 2 years, well, it is 1. That is what we get anyways. As for the watch itself, I have here just one of the 5 different versions. You have, for the classical versions, you have these guilloché exterior with the aventurine inside. You also have much more classic versions, classic for Zelos, of course. You have the teal, which comes with some kind of iridescent finish on the dial. You have the salmon with guilloché all over the dial. You have the mosaic, and you have a special edition called the tantalum, which is made of tantalum with an outer layer on the dial of meteorite, and inside you have real aventurine and not just glass aventurine like in here. But this is the one I got. Just to let you know, I have reviewed the V1. I had the V1 for a long time, for many years. I just sold it a few months ago because I just wasn't using it too much, and that watch, really special watch, deserved much better love. But what we have here, we have an absolutely lovely dress watch, which might be dainty to some, something really coming a long way from the chunky divers that Zelos usually gives us. You've got a diameter of only 37 millimeter with a thickness of only 8.97 millimeters if you don't count the sapphire, the boxed sapphire crystal in here. You have 43.5 in log to log, and you've got 20 millimeters in log width. The finishing on the case is fully polished in this V2 when it was fully brushed on the V1, so a big departure. Some might like it, some might not. For me it is okay because it is a dress watch, and dress watches are known to have polished finishes almost all over, almost all the time. However, this one comes with these small creases that you can see separating the front of the lugs and the flanks of the watch. They are a testament of the complexity of this little watch. And complexity is the name of the game when you look at this amazing dial. In this version, we've got guilloché on the outer part of the dial, and on the inside, let's say medallion, you've got aventurine, and in yet another circle, you've got the small seconds, courtesy of the ETA 7001. We'll discuss the movement later. The dial is this marine blue, as you can see. It looks black when no light hits it, but then when the light hits it properly, you can see how it comes to life at the same time with the light hitting on that beautiful guilloché on the peripheries of the dial and on the aventurine glass at the center of it. On the outermost part of the dial, you've got applied stainless steel pips as to signify the minutes, the elapsed minutes. On the rim with the guilloché, you've got the Arabic numbers from 1 to 12, and yet inside you've got the aventurine material, which is at the same time on the inner part of the dial and on the small seconds at 6. Note that at every step, every one of these surfaces is separated by a metallic rim. And note, if you look closely, that in the rim with these small seconds, you've got some indentations to note the passing of time every 5 seconds. What you need to know about this finishing is that it is actually not stamped like other guilloché dials can be. This is actually guilloché made with guilloché machines. It is not made by hand like those very high-end watches. It is made by a computer. I mean, a computer operates the pattern, but still it is made by a machine with the traditional guilloché techniques, which is really nice. Not even the first Nova 1 was like this. It was stamped as well, so it does look better when you look closer, and Zelos do say so in their promotion material. Regarding the movement, we've got the beautiful ETA Peseux, actually before it was bought by ETA, and you can see that this version is beautifully decorated with Côte de Genève, with blued screws. Some specs about this movement: it is very small and thin, as you can see, and you've got 42 hours of power reserve, and it beats at 21,600 beats per hour. A beautiful, beautiful movement, this one, and you can see that on the bottom plate it has been decorated with the Zelos logo. A very nice touch, that one. As we are in this back part of the watch, you can see the bracelet. You can see that it is very nice Horologique leather, and you can see the beauty of this bracelet when you try the watch on. It is very supple, very nice, and it smells very strongly of leather. So if that is something that bothers you, make sure to know about that. You can see that it is signed Zelos as well. You've got this buckle, which is quite modern looking, with the Zelos logo in here. Looks good. It is quite a departure from the rest of the design, but we'll tolerate that. It is not too bad or too aggravating, of course. Price-wise on these watches, the pre-order price is $749. This one is $799 during the pre-order phase, and when the pre-order phase finishes on the 31st of July, the RRP will be $899, so $900. As I've had the V1 of this watch, what do I think? How do I think it compares to the V1? I really believe they are. The beautiful hands of the watch are alpha hands, and they look extremely good, and they shine under the proper light. The crown is signed Zelos. Do not expect lume on the crown or anywhere in this watch. This is a proper dress watch through and through. Positives and negatives. The first positive of this watch is, of course, the aesthetic part. The beauty of the watch is evident in here, and the use of materials. You've got that aventurine glass, you've got that very nice technique of guilloché, you've got the numerals in here. It all makes for an extremely nice and pleasant watch to the eye. Second positive, I am very impressed that they're actually using the guilloché technique, the ancient guilloché technique. It's not a cheap thing to do, even though of course it is pre-programmed on a computer. It is still using the guilloché machines, and that is very, very impressive at this price point. Number 3, the intricacies of the case. Take a look at that sunken part in there. It is very special, quite nice, and they didn't need to do something like that. And it reminds us, of course, of the craziness of other Zelos models. The proportions are just beautiful for such a watch. 37 and really, really thin. It is a proper dress watch. Another positive point flipping this watch is that movement. It is beautiful, it is historic, it is something that is a joy to see, and it is a manual wind, as again to ascertain the classic aspect of this watch. The negative points: availability. Of course, it is always classical when we talk about Zelos watches. It is pretty sure to be sold out in a few hours, so very unlikely that everybody that wants this watch will be able to buy it. Number 2, it is quite a departure stylistically from the first version, and even though I appreciate this version as well, I am sure that there's many other people that will prefer the quite more tooly V1 with brushing on the sides and quite a different approach to the dial layout. This takes a different approach with those different rims and finishes, especially on this version. It was not the same on the V1, and some people, I have already seen some comments, prefer the V1. Number 2, the price. I believe the price, although I think it has not come up too much compared to the V1, which is quite commendable in this time of high inflation, it is still quite high at $799 for this model. I believe that unless you're a real huge Zelos fan, you will think twice before pulling the trigger. Of course, the people buying these watches are absolute Zelos fans and they will not think twice, and that is just great. It shows what following, deserved following this brand has. But yeah, value has to be mentioned, of course. That is it for the review. If you like this watch, you can go ahead and go to Zelos, of course, to the Zelos website. It drops out in a few hours. You can grab it if you want from today the 5th and until the 31st to get that initial launch price, because ever since it will be $900. On this channel we review watches like this one, great quality at great prices. This will be on the upper scale of what I will review. I usually review watches of $500 and below, but always of great quality. And if that is something that you like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Goodbye.